So this is just wild. I just got here. I've never quite seen it like this. This is where the river itself obviously carves through, goes back that way, kind of an S shape down through here, runs all the way down where I usually go. But man, is it low in there. I never knew that all of that rocky stuff was even there, and those rocks and stumps and things, I mean, that's got to be basically riverbank over there. So that means that dude that was fishing out there was fishing in like 2 feet of water probably. So it's interesting at least to see how low this thing can get. That's craziness. So this bank where I'm going to try to walk, we'll see what happens, is all ice. I mean, somebody's been out here with, I don't know, maybe snowmobiles, maybe a side-by-side, I can't tell. So, I mean, I guess it's thick enough to, somebody's been on it, but those are definitely, I don't know if you can see it on video, right in between those tracks kind of are definitely pockets of water like showing through. And this is wet over here. I mean, it's really foggy and drizzly today. So it's supposed to rain a little bit this morning. I think it's about 10 o'clock. Yeah, my watch won't come alive. Yeah, 10:30. So I'm gonna try and walk all the way down that. I've got some new crampons. Oh, there's some deer down there. You see them crossing. Let me see if I can zoom in. Now I'm interested to see if they're gonna cross. I should have grabbed my tripod. Yeah, I think they might realize I'm here. Just keep quiet and see if they try to cross. I want to see what happens. I'm probably a quarter mile away, so I don't think they see me. The wind is coming from my right, so I don't think they smell me either. The wind is kind of coming from... Yeah, they might see me now. They're giving me a look anyway. Yeah, see, big man-sized shape sticking out here. They kind of, I think, notice. So I bet they could cross down there. That's pretty low looking. I'm gonna go grab my tripod and see if I can watch them better. Alright, so I'm back out here. Saw some deer over here a second ago. I'll see if they're still there. I bought some new crampons. They're the metal types. I mean, I guess they say crampons on them. I guess they're not probably what some people consider crampons for, actual ice climbing and stuff. Some of them are huge. Let's see if those deer are still down there. No, I probably scared them off when I locked the car. So I'm just trying these out because the last couple times I was out here with the Yak Track ones on this really slick ice don't work great. They work great for being in a driveway and stuff like that, where it's slick. But so I should have brought my GoPro, though. I didn't think this through because I've got my trekking poles that my daughter got me for Christmas, and they worked really, really well out here because, like, if I went to slide, they've got a carbide tip, so I was able to kind of dig it in if I was slipping. So, but I may put them back you know, and do this walk, or I may just film this, like some of this walk, and not talk at all and see, because I'm going down, way down around that point. I've got a spot over there that I go to a lot of the time, so I'm kind of wanting to just see how these crampons work so far, just standing on this ice. They work pretty darn awesome, so they're really, really digging in. They've got probably half-inch spikes on them, like triangle type spikes, so I think they're going to work quite good. We'll see. So I think I'll pause this and walk on down a ways and see. I showed in the video where I saw the deer. I may splice it in at the beginning, but the river is the lowest I think I've ever seen it. It's you know, it snakes through here, through this way and through. You can kind of see the low spot in the middle where the river itself runs, but I mean, that over there has got to be all bank. There's rocks and dirt and everything sticking through over there. So I don't know how deep it really truly is here, but I mean, I'm on the end of the boat landing here. Let's see, which if I splice in some footage from summertime, this is the end of the boat landing right here. And so people are normally, like, there's a concrete thing here somewhere. Oh, right there. So that's the corner edge of the boat landing, and that's probably 15, if I had to guess, down to that ice is probably 15, 18 feet, something like that. So it's no wonder when these guys throw their boats in, you know, how deep it is right here. It's that deep all the way around the side. I've seen this before. It doesn't show up in the camera very well, like the depth of the drop, how far down it drops is not great in the camera. But standing here, it's, you know, 3 times my height. There was another one of those ice heaves. I love those. I keep hearing them every time I'm out here. You hear the ice like shifting and moving. So this might be almost nothing left, because that looks like maybe a rock poking through there. Those are definitely holes in between what looks like snowmobile tracks. And these snowmobile tracks weren't here last weekend. So, and it's been cold all week, so I guess that's probably why people have been crossing that. But those are definitely like little water spots poking through right in the center between those 2 tracks. I mean, I don't know if that shows up on camera, but I can see it from here. That definitely looks like a rock poking out. Tons of rocks over there that I didn't even know were there. I didn't know that was that low, you know, over there when I kayak in here. I just assumed this was this low, you know, almost straight across. And going up there, it thins all the way down. I've never gone this direction. I probably should. Maybe I will when I get back. And you'll see how it looks down that way. So anyway, it's not super cold today. It's like 37 or something last time I looked. So but I've only got just a like a level 2 base layer, and then my parka jacket or whatever over top, and then I've got a like a level 3 Polar Tech in my bag. So, but the way it is right now, I feel like I need it. But I'm gonna get moving, then I should warm up. I'd like to start walking cold, so I don't have to shed layers. You know, as soon as I get moving, I should be warm. Yeah, and I'm making like good traction with these crampons. They dig in. I keep calling them crampons just because they say crampons on the side, but I saw some people in the comments on the Amazon post or whatever you call it, where you buy them on Amazon, you know, like the listing, I guess you call it. They were saying, you know, they weren't true crampons or whatever. I guess that depends. Like, yeah, you're probably not climbing ice cliffs, you know, with them. Some of those guys, you know, they're like a couple inches long or whatever I've seen on, you know, on TV. So these are definitely not that, but you know, I wouldn't want that out here. I'd wreck them on all these rocks and everything else. These are kind of a good compromise. So, and they were an impulse buy for sure, because those yak tracks with the little round spring wires, you know, wrapped around, they work great on driveways and such, slippery stuff like that. But on this glare ice, I just about lost it a few times because they, like those little round wires, they kind of slide and they just shear off ice, and you slip. They're not sure at all. They're better than boots, but they're not great. So I impulse bought these. These were on like half price off, and they're very Chinese. They're like cheapy. I think they were like $12 on half off. So, or I mean, they were 20 some dollars, and then I think they were $12 after like a 50% coupon or something. So, that was the main reason I chose them. But looking at them, they're extremely durable so far. I mean, that rubber is super heavy duty. All the little chains are great. One or two of the chains, I think it was two of them, were the links weren't completely together. They weren't open, like they wouldn't have come apart. But the way that I just like things to be the right way. I squeezed those two shut. So there were like two chain links that were a little bit, not even open. They were touching on, like the inner corners kind of. So all I did is kind of square them up so that they touched like flat to flat, if that makes sense. So they were, but otherwise they're fine, and they're hard to show because of my balance, but like decent sized little spikes in the bottom, and there's a chain type. They wrap around the back. There's some little Velcro strap things, I guess, that are supposed to go across your feet, kind of like what I did with the paracord the other day on the yak tracks. But those straps are really short. They don't quite fit over these boots, unless I went maybe on those front holes or something, which I don't think they'd really do a whole lot. So I couldn't quite find a way to use them here. But these come up so much further than the yak tracks and around the back and everything. And they're, metal and clanky and kind of heavier, and I think I would notice if I lost one, I guess is the point. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and start walking. And if I see anything cool, I'll fire up the camera. Alright, so I made it down to my little spot here, and it's starting to drizzle a little bit more. It's kind of mostly foggy, but I've got kind of a foggy, drizzly stuff all over my glasses. So this is about the same. I mean, it's lower for sure. That I can see ground through that trickle, and I think that's spring fed from back in there, because I've seen that in early spring when this is super low. I've walked back there and I've seen spring water feeding out. This looks like it's flowing out into the river. So there's a little bit open there, a little bit open there. My guess is I could probably cross that. I might get a wet foot if I break through though, because on the way in, this ice is so degraded. Even compared to like last weekend, this was not mud all the way down there. And there's already no frost because I've got my poles. This is all sand. So this is already, because this is in the sun, the frost already seems to have gone out. So I've only got just my poncho. I don't have a regular tarp, but I may just pop my poncho up back here in case it starts raining more, just to kind of wait it out a little bit. I mean, I could just go up in the pines there too, it wouldn't matter. So we'll see. I'm getting dripped on from above a little bit, so we shall see. I'm gonna go walk, I think, around that corner a bit more. These crampons are awesome, so they make a huge difference. So I'm gonna probably go poke around the corner and take a look around. So I had a thought when I was looking for saplings that I've seen people use trekking poles, as poles for a tarp type shelter. So I'm going to give that a go and see how it works. I'm not positive if it'll work. I've never tried it, especially with these poles. I'm not sure with the handles how that's going to work, but I just grabbed like a couple sticks for to make stakes out of, so I'm just going to kind of clean those up, and I'll probably fast forward to all of this, but they're just kind of the dry under branches of pine. not quite fatwood, but they pretty much are going to become fatwood, that sort of stuff. So I don't really need everything off of them. I just don't want them having as much resistance going into the ground. So I like a pretty blunt point. Let's see. You know, I like to sometimes point one side kind of more than the rest, so that I get kind of a sort of a flatter side and then kind of a spiky side. But that way they're not gonna. I mean, this is just sand, so it's not gonna really matter. So, and then I like to chamfer the back edge just a hair. I'm not doing anything crazy. I just don't have any stakes with me. So with my normal tarp setup, I've got a set of a whole bunch of aluminum stakes. I might have stuck some in my shelter, I guess, or in my poncho for this sort of thing, but I don't think so. So probably should. It'd be easier, faster. So, but I normally, if I plan on being out, bring a legit tarp. So So, I'm not positive if I'm going to notch these in, or if I'm going to, well, let's see, I'm probably going to notch them. I think I've got paracord loops on that poncho. So, I'll just make just some quick notches in the back here, just to give them something to hook into. So there we go. All right, so got those. I'm going to try to figure out those trekking poles. I'm going to try and stick them in the front, and then put the poncho up at an angle where if I wanted that fire, I may fire that fire up. I may just sit under here until it stops drizzling. I'm not getting super wet. It's not like a big deal, and I should have probably just thrown in my rain gear, like my actual pants and jacket that I wear kayaking sometimes. But you know, I was just lightweight, just coming out here to mostly check out the ice and see where it's at now. So I'm still gonna probably do that. Go take a walk down around the end down there. I think honestly, I think that's low enough right there that I could probably cross over. So we'll see if I do. I'm going to throw this tarp up just more to see how it goes. I want to test if I can make those poles work any kind of way. My thought is I might be able to utilize those handles with like a toggle through or something. Do kind of like a ridgeline, you know, loop to loop connection with a toggle. So I may have to go get, you know, 2 more small sticks like this for toggles. So let's see. I'm going to just leave that run. Well, let me pause it until I get my tarp out and everything. All right, so here's what I've got in a pinch. That was loud. Let's see. All right, so I've got my hood tie out going up to a branch up there. Can't really see that in the camera, but anyway, hood tie out there. stake here, stake over there, trekking poles in the front, and I just used these loops, which this one is starting to slip, so I may have to modify that. It seems to be holding tight enough I can't fix it. So, but anyway, that's like a bowline loop around the loop that's already in my tarp of like mini paracord, and then this is pulling down on that, and then down to a rock just down there. There's too much frost here. I couldn't drive the stakes, but a couple inches in, so they wouldn't hold there, the front stakes. So I've got the trekking pole here, got another rock tied off here. Same problem here, the frost. Stake back there, and then the hood pull out. Got fire out in front. I could go, bigger fire if I was not just trying to get out of the rain for a little while. And then all my stuff laying up in there. So it's a good amount of room in here. I've done these shelters with this poncho many times before, but they were normally I was using a legit ridge line, across 2 trees. So this is the first time I've ever tried it with trekking poles, I think. Yeah, I mean, I've never had trekking poles, so I've done these self-standing types with just saplings, just cut like a, whatever, waist high or whatever sapling, and kind of notch the top so that these loops that I have these loops all the way around on all the grommets, so that I don't have to deal with the grommets. I can deal with the mini paracords, and when you wear it as a poncho, you don't really notice the difference. I've got another piece of paracord in here that's my stomach tie, but I've got knots on it so it doesn't slip through. So if I had to use that piece of paracord for something, it'd be kind of a pain. So, but anyway, it's pretty roomy. I mean, if I had to spend the night here, it'd be no problem. Put a whatchamacallit, like one of those reflective blankets, I keep thinking Arc'teryx, but that's like a brand of outdoor clothing, I believe. It's maybe it's Arcturus or something like that. I can't remember, but they make like the same as like those SOS bivy blankets or whatever they are, where it's like the shiny stuff, but then it's kind of almost like a Menards tarp red, or I think the one I have is red. So I don't have it with me, but I have actually like one of those cheaper like reflective space blankets in my bag. So ultimately, if I really wanted to, I could stretch that over the surface of this, like that shelter that Dave Canterbury's been talking about last video a few days ago or whenever that was, where he's got this set of poles that I might actually buy. I thought about just building it out of saplings, but for $43 or whatever it is, and I think that even includes the poncho, but I might be wrong. It might just be the poles in a bag. But if it's $43 for the poncho too, I mean, this is like a new condition. When I got it, it's probably 10 years old now, but this is a new condition U.S. poncho in the whatever the Army Digicam was. I can't remember the names of them. But this thing will, this thing was easily $40, I think. I can't remember, in like new unused sort of condition. So if you could get the poles, anyway, I'm rambling again, but the poles go, I'm sure anybody who watches my videos has seen Dave's videos, but the poles go out this way and stretch the poncho almost like a dome tent sort of, and they go together like a dome tent poles. So if you had like a small dome tent that you could steal the poles and they were the right length, you could kind of do the same exact thing. They're shock corded together like a tent pole, and then they go corner to corner, except his have a cool little pivot point dingus in the middle, you know, that holds the center. But anyway, what they do is they puff this thing out into a parabola, I think it's called, whatever that shape is, where it's, you know, curved like a parabolic lens or whatever, and then it captures the heat. So then you stick the reflective blanket underneath the poles behind it, where you've got, you know, basically poles blanket or poles reflective tarp thing, whatever you want to call it, space blanket, cheap $1 space blanket, whatever, something reflective in between, and then poncho, and then you put a small fire out front like this, and it reflects the heat back inside. So this would be, I mean, I could easily do that same setup here, you know, if I was actually staying and I wasn't just out here for the day. But it's supposed to stop drizzling here in a little bit, and I think I'm gonna light that fire so I can dry out my jacket a little bit. I'm not super wet, I don't think, but it's a little chilly, so I'm gonna put that that level 3 Polar Tech on, and then sit back under here and eat some of my cashews and peanut M&Ms, and have some of my coffee. So anyway, we'll come back if anything cool happens, if any critters come stumbling by or anything. A lot of times on that other bank over there, there'll be, you know, animals will just come creeping down that, you know, don't realize I'm here. So anyway, I don't know what the rambling's about. I think I probably will cut it out, but we'll see. Alright, so I'm going to show you what I would do if I just needed to fire quick. These are chunks of fat wood stumps. I'm just going to try to break them up a little bit. And kind of stick them back here in the back just a little bit if they'll stand. The wind's coming from that side, so I like to try to use them as a little bit of a windbreak. That one. So we'll see if that'll actually stay standing. It's not going to stay standing while it's burning or anything, but so if I straight up need a fire, I'm not usually monkeying around with any of this stuff. I've got these wet fire things in my pocket, and I don't need a fire, I can just light that stuff. But I've got enough of these around the house that it doesn't hurt to show them how well they work. So I was going to say I have a lighter in my pocket. These will usually light like crazy off of a ferro rod. So if assuming you just had that. It's hard to get the angle right there without knocking everything over and still having it on camera. Alright, that thing will keep burning in there. If I didn't smother it out. Yeah, which I did. That sucks, I keep knocking that stuff over. It's like I can't get a good strike. Alright, there it finally goes. That's a pain to keep knocking all this crap over. I guess I probably should have piled that stuff up at the end. So anyway. Things don't always work like you think they're going to, I guess. And like I said, if that was actually an emergency, I would just hit that with a lighter. So, or just use all that birch bark. But that thing will burn a long time, so I just pile this stuff on now. I don't have to necessarily have it prepped ahead of time even. These are just branches I grabbed over there. So aside from that thing being so difficult to start because I couldn't get a good spark on it, they usually work great if you just hit them with a lighter. You just light the plastic and all, and you just take right off. But I always carry those in my pocket. Got another one or two in there. There's one in my other jacket. Keep them all over the place. They're super cheap. It's like a whole bunch of them for $12 or something. Now I'm warming up. I was getting a little chilly there for a minute. This thing was all fat wood too. So maybe I'll save that. Oh. Alright, so I just built up a little fire there. I recorded it on a video, but it was I was pretty rambly. I hate when I do that. I gotta start working on that. So the sides are just pieces of fat wood stump set up in kind of a V shape. So as a little bit of a windbreak, the wind's kind of coming from that side. Normally, ideally, I'd put the tarp the other way. I mean, there's no real reason I can't. I was just kind of messing with it here. But put the tarp that direction over this direction so that it blocks the wind that's coming from over there. Because there's nothing here that's not self-standing, you know, I could basically rotate it around. That one rock is quite heavy. That one's a bit lighter and still works, so I guess I kind of overkilled that rock a little bit. So anyway, I've got fire there. I'm hot as can be inside already, so I'm not going to add any more to that fire for sure, because it's plenty warm. So alright, so I'm going to see if I can get down and get some water out of that spot. It's, I walked down that way already, but there's a bit of kind of breaky ice at the edge. But then it looks like sandy bottom. So I'm going to try something. I'm going to try and throw a rock down there. So I'm going to take this rock down there and see if I can break that ice. That's relatively clear. I mean, there's definitely some floaties, and it's a bit yellow, like what I call spicy water. So there's a lot of iron and tannins and whatnot in this river water, so we'll see how it should still be just fine. It's nice that I can get down there without falling in. Dang, it's raining again. So that's starting to boil up. So if you camp in a lot of the same spots, you can stash stuff. I've got birch bark under there. Around here, I mean, I've got all these dry pieces. I've got, see, a couple pieces of fat wood that I've got stashed up in the branches. I kind of hang things up off the ground and in, and then under here I've got wood that I cut the other day and stashed under here, I think last weekend. So I've got my saw again today, but I don't have to go source wood if I don't want to right now in the rain. So I'm gonna grab a piece of two of that and split that up and then use that on this fire. So, all right, I'm just gonna baton this piece of wood quick because I don't have an axe with me. And so, let's see if that's in frame. Yeah, that looks like it. I've got a split already, so I'm gonna put that split back here toward the ricasso. And I mean, I'm on a rock, but I can stop so much sooner. I'm at a point where I can twist it and break it, so like I'm not gonna smash my knife into there. I mean, if I do, it's 3V, I won't ruin it, but it's, you know, I'm far enough away, it's not gonna hurt anything. So, and if you were worried about that, you can stick a piece like that right there. You know, if you do this a lot, you can just be really careful. But if you put a piece down like that, For what it's worth, you can stick another one there, but you really don't need to. I'll show you. I'll get closer with this one. So you go too far, you got that piece like that, protecting your knife from that rock. Really don't need it if you just go gentle, but it's just something I thought of one day. See, that one slipped through. Tagged the log right there. That's good enough. Sounds like that water's probably boiling. Let's see. So here's something over here. I'm gonna just go take a look. It's probably just everything shifting and moving over here, but it's really weird out today. It's really foggy. That was a good crunch behind me. I think that might have been that snowy bit that's kind of fell in there. So I guess somebody else has been out here. That fire was here last weekend too. So I'm sure it's probably like snowmobile people or something. I don't think they realized to get back around the corner where I'm at. So this is out here on the point kind of, and then I'm over there around the corner. This part, I mean, that's just a spot I like to come, but the wind is pretty bad there sometimes. So sometimes it makes more sense to get up in this little inlet or around the corner. But in the summertime, I really like this spot because with the hammock you get the wind So sometimes I'd rather have the wind with the hammock when it's really hot. But it's really, really foggy. Like that protrusion there is normally underwater. You can kayak straight across it. Sometimes that little tippy end of that sandbar sticks out, but that's it. The rest of that's underwater. So, and this entire inlet, and you just cannot see. In the video, I've looked back at the videos, you just cannot see the extent of how deep this is compared to what I can see. This whole entire piece is just like a crevice down into that inlet. It just drops. That might give you some scope, but it just tips right in there. There's stumps, like a stump or something there. Those trees, like I kayak past those trees, and they're sticking out like that. And I can hear the water trickling underneath in these cracks. Like I'm still on the bank, so I'm not over water, but I can hear water running in these cracks. Every so often I can see down through the cracks and see the dirt. So that's how I know I'm still on bank. And I know where these stumps are and how much sand is usually there. You can't quite see under there. You can just hear the water running. And this ice is really, really sketchy, like soft slush. It's just so weird out here. It's only like 1:30 or 2 or something. So let's see if I can see dirt down under here. Yeah, so dirt there, dirt there. So the real water's not until well out there somewhere. But if I'm quiet, you can just hear melt drainage, I assume. And I don't think it's the water out there. I'm hearing it like beside myself. So I think it's the ice dripping off, or the water dripping off the ice, because I saw the ice over there dripping earlier. And it's only, let's see. Trying to figure out what temperature it is. 41, so it's pretty darn warm. So, but it's just foggy. You can't even see halfway to where my car is down that way. My car's down. It's past there somewhere, and you can't see that at all. So it'll be interesting to post up some kayak video out here now that I have this, like this video documentation of how low it is and icy, how weird it all is. It's just so bizarre. I bet it's deep in there. It sure looks like it's deep over there. If I had to guess, it looks like it flows. Looks like it flows back that way, and then back that way, and then through the middle and back around. And then once you get down, I don't know, maybe I'll go down further next weekend and see, how far I can get. it's not going to be too much longer before you won't be able to cross, at all, because where I went and got that water from, I threw that rock and smashed it to make sure that I wouldn't break it when I stepped, which was a good idea because the rock broke it just fine. And then stepping on the shelf ice next to it, I threw the second rock. I doubt I'll post that video, but right over there there's a rock on the right side of that hole that I threw on the left side, and it bounced, so it didn't break. And then the first rock that I threw cracked off a piece. So I threw a piece in there. Right there on the front edge is that rock you can kind of see sitting down there. So I threw that rock in. Threw that rock in, and then I stood on that little edge right there. So my fire's almost out. I think I'm probably just gonna pack up my stuff and walk back that direction, because I kind of want to go north of the boat landing a little bit and see what's up that way. See, because I can kayak into there, but I've never walked over that direction yet, so might do that. So I decided I'm going to walk around this side first before I leave. Just because I got over here before, but it's a little different this time, and I've got these way better cleats. So far these things are a win. They're called, I shot a video already, but I'm not sure if I'll probably post some segment of it anyway, but they're called like Alpen Bearer or something like that. I'll try to take a picture of the package and throw it on the thumbnail or something. I'll probably make them a separate video, since almost every video I do is starting a fire. It seems like doing something different seems to get some views every so often. So anyway, these things are really good. These are the win of the day so far. Yeah, that's sand right there and sand right there. So I'm pretty darn sure you could get across there. You might get wet in the middle a little bit or something, but yeah, this whole inlet is like, that's got to be bank, and then it carves through, it carves back through, it carves back through. So, I think that I could probably pretty easily just cruise around and into there. I'm still on dirt. And I'm basically out in the middle of the river. The tree that we usually orient on that's out in the middle of the river is way down there. So in the summertime, you know, I'm kayaking all out in there, but it gets deep, you can't quite see. This curls around, comes back around, that bank is super high. Then it goes behind this, and this thing I'm on is ice, so it cuts back that way. But this has got to be almost all entirely just like a big rolling hill of ice. This is definitely dirt here, and this crevice I'm on is dirt. You can see dirt all the way through, so I'm guessing that that's dirt all the way, like bank right there, out like that. So it's interesting. I had no idea there was so much rock and low spot all in here. I mean, there's open water, right? Let's see. Right there. That's all open water. I can see it flowing. I don't know if it'll show up in the video. And then open water. All that dark stuff right there at the edge. This is water with ice on it. And maybe it's open right there. This is like the beginning of March. So I think it's March, I don't know, 3rd or something, I think. So that's just crazy. This thing will be almost melted in and open in probably sometime in March. Usually I'm kayaking by April if I'm lucky. But this year, this is nuts. Down where I came from, way down around that point, there's a spot where I was walking earlier, and it's tipped completely in now, so it's gone way in. Still got dirt down there, so I know I'm up on, you know, safely on riverbank basically, because all of this has been melting all day. All these pieces keep cracking in. I'm sure if I went down here earlier, it probably wasn't, you know, these might not have been tipped in quite this far. So I don't know if I can get a better perspective from this angle of down toward the boat landing. So the boat landing is sticking out right about there. So, and that plane comes out basically like that. So when the water's normally up there, now the ice is down there. So it's got to be a good 15 feet or more drop, and then however deep that water is right there. My guess is it's not super deep, but we'll see, I guess, if I can get in there with a kayak soon enough into this ice. The problem I have with the ice kayaking, you know, is if this opens and I get out there, I can't get out of the kayak usually. So unless I could get somewhere, you know, similar to that where it's rocky or sandy, you know, that's open, completely sandy, but it's a steep bank. So if I could find somewhere that's sandy, you know, and not just ice, I could find a place to get in and out, then I'd probably be out there about as soon as possible. But we'll see. It's such a mild winter that, you know, I think winter's, you know, we might get a couple good snowstorms still. We usually do in March or April, but I think winter's pretty much over. So anyway, I'm almost back to the car. I'm gonna call it a day, I think. I filmed some other videos down there. We'll see how many of them I like or post or whatever. But anyway, just out playing around by the river. Thanks for watching.